Chapter 38. How tidings came to the queen that King Lusart was made prisoner, and how Barsinian executed his treason, and how at last he was overthrown, and the king restored to his kingdom. The woodsman had carried news of Lusart's imprisonment to London. Immediately there was a great stir in the city. The knights all ran to horse and galloped to his rescue, so that the whole plain seemed full of them. King Arobin of North Wales was talking with the queen, when his squires brought him horse and arms, and a page said to him, "Arm yourself, sir." "What are you doing?" "There is not a knight of all the king's company except yourself who is not gone full speed to the forest." "But why?" quoth Arobin. "Because they say 10 knights are carrying away the king prisoner." "Holy Mary!" exclaimed the queen. "I always feared this," and she fell down in a swoon. Arobin left her to the care of her ladies, all making loud lamentations, and armed himself. As he was mounting, he heard a great cry that the tower was taken. "Holy Mary!" quoth he, "we're all betrayed." And then he knew he must not leave the queen. By this time there was such an uproar in the town, as if all the people of the world were there. Arobin drew up his 200 knights before the queen's palace, and sent 2 of them to discover the cause of the tumult. They went to the tower and saw that Barsinian had gotten possession of it, and was killing some and throwing others from the walls, for he had 600 knights with him, besides footmen, and the king's knights, suspecting nothing, had all gone to their master's rescue. The townsmen, hearing this, ran all armed as they could in haste to the queen's palace, and there also Barsinian went, that he might take her and get possession of the crown and throne. When he arrived, he found Arobin ready for defense. "Arobin," quoth he, "you have hitherto been the wisest knight of a young man that has been known. See now that you lose not your wisdom." "Why do you say this?" cried Arobin. "Because before 5 days' end Lusart's head will be sent to me, and there is no other in this land who can or ought to be king except myself, and the king I will be. I give you the kingdom of North Wales, which you now hold, because you are a good knight and so wise. So retire now, and let me take the crown and throne, for whosoever opposes me shall lose his head." "Villain and traitor," quoth Arobin, and then began a sharp conflict, wherein many were slain, which lasted till night, for the streets being narrow, Barsinian could not avail himself of his numbers, and King Arobin so behaved himself that he that day saved the queen. At night both parties retired. The queen sent for Arobin. He went to her armed as he was, and wounded in many places, and, when he came before her, took off his battered helmet. There were 5 wounds in his face and neck, and his countenance was all bloody, but it seemed a beautiful face to those who, under God, thought him their protector. But the queen, seeing him, wept aloud with great pity. "Ah, good nephew, God defend thee! What will become of the king? And what will become of us?" "Of him," quoth Arobin, "we shall have good news. For ourselves, fear nothing from these traitors. Your vassals who are with me can defend themselves in their great loyalty. But, nephew, you are not in a state to bear arms, and what can others do without you?" "Fear not, lady. So long as life is in me, I shall not forsake my arms." Barsinian, who found his people had need of rest, took 20 knights with him in the morning, and went to a post which Arobin's high steward kept. They at the barrier took their arms to defend themselves, but Barsinian cried out that he came to speak with them, and made a truce till noon, to which Arobin, being advised thereof, assented willingly, for the most part of his company had been so hardly handled that they could not bear arms. Barsinian went to Arobin, and said that he would make a truce for 5 days. "Agreed," said Arobin, "but provided that you shall not attempt to take anything in the town, and that if the king comes, we immediately act as he may order us." "I grant all this," said Barsinian, that there may be no more battling, for I value my own knights, and I value you who will be mine sooner than you think. I will tell you how. The king is dead, and I have his daughter, and will make her my wife." "God forsake me then," quoth Arobin, "if thou ever if ever thou shalt have truce with me, since thou art a partaker in the treason against my liege lord. Go and do thy worst." And before night Barsinian made 3 attacks upon him, and was repulsed.